So let us join together in consciousness as we begin this service with open hearts and minds. I recognize that there's one power in the universe. It's infinite, eternal, and everywhere present. It's powerful, creative, and intelligent. It is the energy of life itself, and it's fully present as each and every one of us. So I breathe life into this moment, knowing that I am all that I need to be, created, unique, and special, and that the power within me is infinite. I use it consciously, creatively, and create a life that is truly remarkable in all ways. It is with all of these ideas fully realized that I accept and know that this power for good within me is absolutely my ability to live life in the most full, expansive, and powerful expression. I am a divine idea in the mind of God, and knowing this for myself and all others, I accept with gratitude that life truly is a gift and a blessing. Loving this moment, accepting all that is, I gratefully release this into the law of mind, knowing it is done. And so it is. Amen. Amen.
Thank you for being with us this morning, Reverend Barr. We're looking forward to your lesson. Go ahead.
Thank you. Well, today the talk is your invisible power. And I think sometimes we forget how powerful we are, how intelligent and creative. And the power that we have within us, of course, is the presence of God, the Christ consciousness. And the way we can use it most easily, of course, is through prayer. And the idea of tapping into this presence. It's easy for us to get distracted by the world. You know, I have an ache in my back and that pulls my focus and it's like, oh, I don't feel good. Or, you know, maybe I have an upset stomach and oh, I'm feeling sick. And we get these I am statements that we use in a way that really doesn't serve us. So we want to take a look at how we're living our lives moment by moment, because there is an opportunity for us to be in this prayerful consciousness, not once in a while, but all the time. So that is sort of creating this sacred continuum. And we do that by acknowledging that our words have power, that the thoughts that we think are actually creative, because this invisible power within us works 24/7. Okay, not once in a while, not when I'm in a good mood, not when I'm saying my morning prayer or my evening gratitude, but all the time. So we want to check in and go, what is it that I'm thinking moment by moment and day by day? What are my thought patterns and how am I using, especially the phrase I am? We want to really shift that. That helps us to create a life that is far more powerful and purposeful, so we can take this power and truly use it. The energy of this is beyond description. So if we can pray unceasingly, right? This is in the Bible. Jesus talks about praying unceasingly. And we think, well, how do I do that? Well, if we go back to the book of Genesis, God says to Adam, whatever you name a thing, that's what it's going to be for you. So we want to check in with ourselves to begin to use words in a more powerful and productive way. So when we want to start complaining, for example, because I know I do that, and I'm sure most of us here do it on occasion, just to check in and go, oh, wait a minute. What if everything that's going on is going on because of an idea I held in the past, or because I am still fully connected into the race consciousness of the planet, and this is the collective expression right now? I want to take myself out of that, and I can do that by using prayer and affirmation, of course. And sometimes we need to add in some denials so that we are actually changing the direction of what it is we're thinking about, so that we can begin to eliminate that negativity. So if we're doing our prayer and we're talking about I'm healthy and vital and vibrant, and then we feel a little pain or something and we go, oh yeah, but I am really, I feel really awful. What we want to do is we want to correct that immediately And in our prayers, what we can do is make a statement, an affirmative statement of what it is we desire. And then immediately following that, if a negative thought pops in, to sit back and go, wait a minute, hello, you have no power here. I'm not giving you power. I'm going to return myself to that affirmation. And remember, I am one with God, not separate from, not different than. It is not a piece of me. It is all of me. God is the presence and the power of life itself. We live, move, and have our being in it. It's like the wave on the ocean. We know that wave is ocean water, right? We know it's not separate or different. So each and every one of us are that wave in God, that expression of God. So we want to take that power. Maybe we can't see it, touch it, feel it, but man, we can watch it manifest. I've had many, many wonderful experiences and challenging experiences because of thoughts that I've held that have manifested in a way that I wasn't crazy about, and other ones that manifest in ways that felt miraculous. And it's interesting how those really great ones feel miraculous. And when we do something really negative and we think something really negative and immediately bounces back to us, we go, whoa, how did that happen? It is just as miraculous as the first one. The universe is always responding to us, through us. And so we want to pay attention. One of the things that, I've shared with you before is last year at Unity Convention. When I went to convention on my flight there, I said, you know what, if Myrtle Fillmore can heal her body, I can heal mine. And sure enough, 4 days later, my body was healed. It still is. I am walking miles every day, doing my workouts, lifting weights, cycling, doing whatever. I have a healthy, strong body. And that has lasted. There was no opposing idea. When the idea hit me, if Myrtle could do it, I can. There was nothing. There was just an acceptance that that was true. And that invisible power, of course, goes immediately to work. The idea of, well, this is kind of an embarrassing one, but here we go. I don't know if I've shared this with you before, but about I don't know, must have been a year ago or thereabouts, I was driving home from work or driving home from wherever I was. And my husband called and said, hey, we don't have time to cook stuff for dinner because of this appointment and that appointment. Stop and pick something up. And he wanted me to stop at McDonald's. And in my mind, I'm going, oh man, that is the last place on earth I need to be eating. My weight was out of control. I was feeling, I was really uncomfortable in my skin. So, it's like, oh, that's the last place you should be eating. I go and drive into the drive-through and place the order for he and I. And as I'm coming out, it's one of those double lane ones. We sort of, me and another person kind of met. And I'm like, hey, wait a minute. And she actually yells out she gets out of her car and yells at me, you are so fat. This is the last place you should be eating. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe somebody would actually say something like that to another human being. But as I drove out, what I should have said to her at that moment was, keep coming here and you can look like this too. I thought of that later. You know how you get those great thoughts after the fact? But as I was driving away, I thought, you know what? I can't even be mad at her right now, as ridiculous as this is, because that was the thought I had when I was driving in. She mirrored it was a miracle. I got exactly what I stated. So sometimes we forget that this power within us is acting constantly, continuously, and creatively, intelligently, not some of the time, but all of the time. And so we want to check in with our thoughts. We want to remember that our words have power and that whatever we name anything, that's what it's going to be for us. So we want to check in. How am I using language? And can I create a prayerful life 24/7? Now, that's going to be a bit of a stretch for most of us, but here's how we do it. When I am, zipping along, maybe I'm driving down the highway and somebody swerves into my lane. What I'm doing is catching myself going, okay, I can get all upset, like, how dare you, and honk the horn and, wave in a fancy way or whatever. Or I can just take a breath If I catch myself wanting to react, I can take a breath and go, this is not about me. Let me just bless this situation and let me remember that I am safe. They didn't hit me. I am safe. All is well. And begin to shift my perspective. This past month has been really a difficult month for me. My mom died. I had to have my cat put down, and my landlord said it's time to move. He's selling the house. And that was a lot coming within, about a 10-day period. But what's been interesting about it is, the grief for my mom and my cat was huge, but I just let it happen. And the idea of moving is it is what it is. I love my home. I love my neighbors, my neighborhood. But I thought, you know what? It is what it is. Something wonderful is happening here. Now that's a shift. A couple of years ago, if I had that same situation, I probably would have been griping and complaining that, why do people do things like this? And why is it happening all at once? And blah, blah, blah. What am I going to do next? All that fear. But for whatever reason, there's been an evolution or an awakening or an expanding within me where I know that all of it is good. I don't know why, I don't know how, but whatever's going on, space is being created for me to live in a fuller, more expanded way. And for that, I am so incredibly grateful. So I just know it's all working out. If I could heal my body, I can definitely find a new home. If who knows, maybe somebody will buy it and decide they want to keep us here. They're an investor. Who knows? Who cares? Whatever happens, happens by divine appointment. So there's a shift that occurs as we practice. And that's why our daily practice is so essential to our overall well-being. When we begin to heal ourselves and accept ourselves as we are, where we are, in a loving, compassionate way, what happens is we become more peaceful in all that we do. And the way we relate to the people around us becomes much more loving, peaceful, and wonderful. My neighbors on either side of me have had health challenges, so they're on my prayer list. And the one gentleman I've been praying for a number of months now, because he had this huge tumor, which has completely shrunk down, and his doctors are quite happy with this progress. But I don't know, a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago, he climbs up onto his roof. He's 80 years old in the rain, and the ladder falls and he hits the ground. Now, fortunately, my husband was home, heard him scream out, went over to help him. But here's the thing, sent the ambulance, all that. He comes home, he's got a little scratch on his forehead, his eyes a little swollen. No concussion, no broken bones, nothing injured in any way. And he fell from the roof to the ground. Hello. And I said to him, I said, it's all those prayers. I just keep praying for you and you're somehow bouncing back. And he goes, I am so grateful. The energy that we hold with each other and with ourselves is so essential. And there's a book that I've been reading recently called The Sacred Continuum, and it's written by Stephanie Sorensen. And it is a book about our life between prayers. Our life between prayers. When we remember that this power is within us and operating 24/7, what we're doing between our prayer times is essential. And prayer doesn't have to take a long time. Meister Eckhart from, I don't know, mystic from the 1500s or whatever, he said, if the only prayer you ever did was a prayer of gratitude, it would be sufficient. So in order to maintain our life between prayers, it's about being grateful, even in the moments when it feels like something ugly is happening or something painful is happening, to acknowledge that, you know what? God is right here. I'm not alone. Whatever I need in this moment is available to me. Nothing's held back. I sometimes think about this power within us, like, the genie in the magic lantern, right? We rub that magic lamp and the genie jumps out and says, oh, I'll grant you 3 wishes, anything you want. Well, we have a power within us that not only grants us 3 wishes, but infinite wishes. Whatever it is that we can imagine, desire, it will manifest for us. It's up to us to use it in a way that's very consciously creative and powerful and positive. And that's where our prayer work comes in. And when I pray, I have a system of prayer that's a little bit different than what most people pray. Mine begins with the idea that there is one power in the universe. And so I'll talk about God as, all powerful, all knowing, everywhere present, infinite, creative, intelligent. And I begin there because what I want to do is get my mind out of circumstances, out of the problems of my life or my world or whatever I'm perceiving as difficult. I want to get my mind out of that place and into a place of acknowledging that there is only God. And as I begin to feel that energy within me, then I acknowledge, I unify with it and go, well, if God is all there is, then I am in it. It's being me. It is who I am and what I am. And so I must be created perfect, whole, and complete because I am that infinite presence. So I feel that energy of oneness with God. And that empowers me to then take my next step of going, oh, okay, so what is it I'm praying about today? Maybe it's just a prayer of gratitude, but maybe it's a prayer for my new home. And so I start speaking about, well, I have this incredible sanctuary. It is my perfect sacred space. It provides me with safety, security, and comfort and well-being. It is absolutely wonderful. My neighbors are beautiful. My home is fantastic. And I allow myself to speak about it in a positive, present tense, first person way that anchors that feeling inside of me that I am at home. And then I move into gratitude, where I go, wow, I'm so grateful for my glorious home. I'm grateful for the ease in which all of this has occurred. I'm grateful for comfort and safety and security and harmony and sanctuary. Whatever it is that I've been desiring, I become grateful for whatever I've spoken. And then, of course, I let it go. I release this into the law of mind, or I let go and let God, whatever I want to say. And so it is, amen. And the prayer is done. So there's a way of pulling together these components that allows me to really anchor what it is that I say I want, what it is that I say I desire in my life. One of the challenges that we face is we often talk about the things that are missing in our life in a way that tells the universe it's missing. I want a new car. I want a new home. I want a relationship. I want a healthy body. And whenever we do that, we get more wanting. Okay, this is really important. This is why affirmations, which is like a main foundation of unity, the idea of affirmations is so important. First person, present tense, complete. I am health, not I'm going to get healthy, not that my, problem's going to go away. I am health. I am health. My body, every cell operates harmoniously, beautifully, comfortably, continuously, constantly. And I express infinite energy and a vibrational, positive life and love, right? We get into that idea that it's now. I need money in my life. Well, I am part of an abundant universe and it's flourishing around me constantly, continuously. Everything I have need of is right where I am. I am so grateful. So we're using this invisible power in a very conscious and concrete way because it only can say yes. Okay, it doesn't decide. It doesn't choose. Sometimes people say, well, why does God let bad things happen? God does not let bad things happen. Bad things happen because we as human beings choose to use this energy in a way that's not serving us. It's as simple as that. So when we sit back and look and go, well, it's a bad thing, but what if it isn't a bad thing? There's the story of the farmer who is out in his yard, and all of a sudden this horse comes running up and he takes it and goes, wow, okay, now I've got a new horse. And the neighbor goes, wow, that's so great. And he goes, well, not great, doesn't matter. It is what it is. It's neither great, neither bad. It just is what it is. And then his son is riding the horse and falls off and breaks his leg. And the neighbor goes, oh, that's so terrible. Your son broke his leg. That's awful, horrible. And the farmer goes, well, it is what it is. Neither good, neither bad. It just is what it is. The next day, the army comes knocking on the door looking for people to, put into the armed forces to fight this war. And the young man can't go because he's got a broken leg. And again, the farmer says, well, it's neither good, neither bad. It just is what it is. We tend to judge things from our perspective, our limited ability to see what's really going on, because we don't have that view of the entire universe, right? We can only see what's right in front of us. And when we judge it, we actually change what it could be. That farmer was so clear. Yeah, it's one of those fun little stories that just expresses that when we can just look at life and accept it as it is, where it is, and go, and this too is God. And although I don't know what's coming next, because really we never do we? What I do know is that in this now moment, I am safe. And it's a habit that I've been really working on over the last couple of years, is that in this now moment, I have my needs met. I have a roof over my head. I have a wonderful career that I love. My family is safe and healthy as best they can be. They're doing what they're doing. And I am at peace with my life. And if I can take this moment and go, okay, all is well, which is what I had to do when I got notice, you're going to have to move. It's like, okay, just a minute. Don't react to that. Just go, all right, something magnificent is coming. Something beautiful is happening. Don't know what it is. Don't need to. That's the excitement of life. I don't have to have all the answers ahead of time. I don't have to know what tomorrow brings. I need to just be present. Present to notice the glory, the magnificence, the beauty of God. And every springtime, it becomes so obvious with the bursting up of crocuses and daffodils and tulips. And then the beautiful, fragrant lilacs come out. And it's like everything around is bursting forth. And when we can begin to acknowledge that life is bursting forth, and I don't know what it's going to look like next week or next month or next year. I don't need to know that. The only thing I need to know is right here, right now, all is well. And that's become one of my favorite phrases. All is well. All is well. If we can make that a bit of a mantra, in the moment when we hear something on the news that we go, whoa, just stop and go, let me shut it off. All is well. I don't know why or how or whatever, but all is well. And we often look at, death and dying as something really horrible and awful. Painful, yes. The more we love, the deeper the grief, right? But grieving is because we've loved. And so when we can go, well, death is like birth. It is the natural evolution of humanity. We live, we're born, we have some life, and then we leave. But it isn't an ending. In my mind, it is a next step in the evolution of whatever it is that we are doing. And so when we can come to terms with death and dying, when we can come to terms with, change, we don't like change very much, but change is the constant. And really, if things didn't change, wouldn't life be boring? I mean, think about it. If everything was exactly the same every day, you ate the same thing for breakfast, the same thing for lunch, the same thing for dinner, you did the same walk every day, you talked to the same person every day, you read the very same book every day, you watched the same television show every day, you went to church, you heard the very same sermon every day, like, hello, I'd want to check out. It's like, enough already. Let's throw a little spice into that day and create something more interesting. And I think death and dying is really about, I've completed a part of my journey and now I'm moving on. Now, that doesn't mean you don't grieve. I mean, I bawled my eyes out with my mom for weeks. And with my cat, that was having to put my cat down was horrible. And it was like, yeah, because I love them. So I hurt. But hurting isn't bad. It is an experience that we have. And when we can begin to look at life and go, I'm here to experience living. And to experience living, I need to see different things because I'm here to experience. But all of it is somehow leading me, awakening me, expanding me, moving me in the direction of my highest, greatest evolution. And when I stop resisting the growth that's there, the change that's there, life gets easier and sweeter and more beautiful every time. We're here. It's a journey. And it has its ups and downs, its moments of elation, its moments of struggle, its moments of resistance, its moments of great joy and great love and great passion and boredom and grief and despair. All of it is just life. And how I label it becomes my experience. I look at an event and I go, that event is bad. And then I feel the energy that comes with that statement. So we're on a journey, and I invite you to take a really good look at your prayer life and when you pray and how often you pray. And then what is it that you're doing in between those prayers? And are you able to allow yourself to look at each event that comes and go, it is what it is. And I don't know if it's good or bad. It feels hurtful to me, or it feels uncomfortable for me, or it feels joyful to me. But if I can just have the experience without the label, how might that free me to live more fully? And so our practice is so important. I'm not sure what just happened there. All of a sudden, I couldn't see anybody. I disappeared. The practice that we have daily, moment by moment, is so essential. So I invite you to view life as something beautiful and remarkable, to wake up in the morning with the intention to have the most spectacular experience ever, whatever that looks like. To plant your feet on the floor and go, thank you, another day. Yeah, yay. And then get into that day and to listen to that intuitive voice that says, phone Mary and go for a walk and go sit and play in the grass and let your puppy or your cat walk all over you and just lick your face or whatever. Just be in life fully and completely and view each moment as all is well, whatever that looks like. Let us just take these ideas and let's move into meditation and allow us to anchor this idea of this invisible power fully present. So taking a deep breath in, and as you let it out, just relaxing a little deeper, a little fuller. Another deep breath. And as you release, just settle right into wherever you're seated. And just notice in the silence the presence of this infinite power. It is in the silence that I feel the vibration and energy of this eternal presence. It is in the silence that I hear the still small voice. that infinite wisdom that intuitively suggests my next step, that allows me to awaken and expand, allows me to know myself deeper, but also to experience life deeper. So I take time every day to listen. And to respond, to take action. To be in life fully, knowing that all is well, that somehow, some way, something beautiful is coming out of every experience. That somehow life is showing me a new direction or a new path, or revealing to me the perfection of my current journey. Everything that happens within this one infinite presence. And regardless how I use it, at the end of the day, there is only love. There is only God. Taking a deep breath in. Letting it go. All is well. And so it is.